When the first shots of World War I rang out in 1914, no one could have predicted how it would transform not just the battlefield, but life at home for millions. This wasn't just a soldier's war. It was the first total war that would reshape society itself. Picture this: as men marched off to the trenches, women stepped out of their traditional roles and into factories, offices, and workshops across the nation. For the first time, they wore overalls instead of dresses, operated heavy machinery, and became the backbone of the wartime economy. These women weren't just filling in, they were revolutionizing the workplace. The iconic image of Rosie the Riveter might be from World War II, but it was during the First World War that women first proved they could do what was traditionally considered men's work. They became conductors on buses, worked in munitions factories, earning the nickname Canaries due to the yellow tinge their skin took from handling explosives, and even took up farming in the Women's Land Army. But the home front wasn't just about women in the workforce. Every aspect of daily life changed dramatically. Propaganda posters covered city walls, urging citizens to do your bit. They weren't just selling war bonds, they were selling a complete transformation of everyday life. Families were told to eat less bread and waste nothing. Rationing became a patriotic duty, and victory gardens sprouted up in backyards across the nation. The effects of total war reached into every home. Children collected scrap metal for the war effort. Families learned to cope with shortages of everything from sugar to coal, and communities came together in ways they never had before. But it wasn't all solidarity and sacrifice. Prices soared, and many families struggled to make ends meet. Perhaps the most lasting impact was how the war shattered the old Victorian social order. Class boundaries began to blur as rich and poor alike faced the same challenges. The sight of upper-class women working alongside working-class women in factories would have been unthinkable before the war. When the guns finally fell silent in 1918, society had been fundamentally altered. Women had proven their capabilities beyond doubt. Workers had gained new rights and recognition, and the rigid social hierarchies of the pre-war world had begun to crumble. The home front of World War I hadn't just supported the war effort, it had ushered in the modern world. This was the true power of total war. It didn't just change maps and governments, it transformed the very fabric of society. And while the soldiers returned home as heroes, it was perhaps those on the home front who had engineered the most lasting revolution of all.